Pisces Collective, welcome. I am Nikki, your local vegan tarotist, and we are going to do a twin flame love reading, see what's going on in your connection. I woke up feeling my allergies were going insane, so there's kind of a need to clean up shop. I often recommend with Pisces that you work on cleansing your water through doing some sort of juice cleanse or something. Always checking your water filters. So the water signs, I recommend checking your water filters. So those are very basic things that you can do around your house in your day-to-day life that have spiritual effects. For air signs, check your air. So maybe you have you're dealing with, or you or your person have strong air placements, but yeah, there's something with breathing. I'm feeling short of breath because I've got, respiratory stuff, allergies going on. So there's also a need, and I put on my rosary and my mala beads. So I feel very overstimulated. Hence the hood, the low lights and everything. It's just natural light. So there's a need to kind of get back to your nature and kind of go into hermit mode, which is Virgo. You guys are always dealing with Virgo energy because this is your sister / polarity sign, right? So maybe something with a sister or sibling is relevant here. But there's this overstimulation of, there's too much going on. So cleansing your body, cleansing your environment, cleansing your space, and preparing, kind of armoring up spiritually for this next thing, because I feel like this love is very close, this union is very close, and it always it's like the bend before the break. There's such a high intensity where both of you feel under attack spiritually, people around you, by your own demons, right? Your own shadows, because we have the Five of Wands here. So it's almost like your own mind, you're overthinking, overstimulated, not overthinking according to other people, overthinking to yourself, because you know that can get you into a dark place of just ruminating and possibly self-loathing. It gets you into a very dark place. You don't want to hang out with your shadows too much, right? You take them in doses just so that they feel seen, and that way they don't have to start yelling, making a ruckus. So I feel like there's some kind of attachment, maybe some sort of behavior in your past that you went to for comfort in times like these, and you're staying strong, but you're feeling tempted. There's like temptations to we'll see how many that comes in. But there's something there's some sort of a chaos or blockage, and it's a 5. Someone's talking about you. You're on someone's mind for sure. I think you're on a lot of people's mind. This could be a lot of gossip, trying to get in the way of this union. We're going to move through that energy, because not today, Satan. Yeah, the moon. I just there's this sense of you being okay with whatever time it takes for this union. This union. I don't know why I was going to say or. Somebody could have just coughed. Maybe you're coughing in a series of numbers that's significant to your life path. That's specific, but and there's something about this is very specific, but usually my sneezes come in 3s, which is not my life path, but that is my favorite number, right? That is the number that is very prevalent in my life. And so the fact that I just moved from that second sneeze, okay, we're not going to give more energy to that. We're going to move through that. it's like a cycle was broken, because 3 is the number of creation, right? The Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit, me, myself, and I, body, mind, and spirit, masculine, feminine, the creation, right? The divine, masculine, feminine, divine creation. And so it's like, if something comes in 3s and it's giving me remembrance, that's a very intense word for what I'm trying to say here. So somebody could be getting quite poetic or grandiose here. That doesn't sound like anybody in the Pisces collective, right? But the movie The Conjuring, where the entity that is possessing their house or whatever, is, banging the doors in 3s. There's a lot of 3s because it's mocking, just like 666 is actually a divine number. And the devil adopted that, right? It's whatever, figuratively speaking, the devil adopted that as like a mockery. So it's like, by breaking this, it's like you're breaking this cycle before it can repeat. You see something around the bend, you know what's coming, and so it's like also a need to rest. So you know that you're going into hermit mode. It's like you're adopting your sister sign's strengths in the modality that you share of being mutable, and mutable energy is all about discerning. It's like, I know what's right and wrong, and it's like, I know what's down that way. I've been there, I've done that. I can keep going down this, and then this would be insanity. This would be the definition of insanity. So I need to not do that. And so there's this need to just go, and also not giving your energy to people who want to stay stuck in that cycle. Fuck, say that 5 times fast. So there's like, no, I'm not going to give that any more attention, because if I give that attention, it pulls me into that. And that's a cycle I broke long ago. And maybe you've had people in your sphere, in your space, that are that part of that temptation that's kind of luring you back into that cycle. People like, we haven't seen you in a long time, let's go out and party. And you're like, I am maybe feeling a little bit lonely, and I maybe would like to do something, and I don't have any representation or kind of way to, there's some kind of blockage with me and my third eye. So maybe, again, also, that's the water filters decalcifying your pineal gland. There's like a blockage with you being able to see, or this could be what you're coming out of, you being able to see the divine blessings, right, that are already yours. And so you kind of forgotten why you were isolating, why you were doing this shadow work, and maybe your ego just kind of got like, man, I'm just tired of like being strong. I'm tired of doing it all by myself. I'm tired of, waiting on this divine love, or like, it's the most challenging work that we do, shadow work. And so it's exhausting, and maybe you're just kind of like, there's too much going on out here for me to like still be doing this work. And so maybe your focus shifted from your shadow work to your 3D work. And that's why the divine feminine and masculine coming together is very important, because then you have a god of the 3D and a god of the 5D, goddess of the 5D, and they come together and they're master creators, and they can balance that energy. Doing it alone really sucks. So if maybe you've been single for a long time and you're just like, I'm exhausted, and by doing all this inner work, I've let this outer work slip, and now I have to tend to that because it's maybe gotten so bad, or it's just gotten to the point where it's actually hindering your spiritual work. So there's this figuring out how to balance that. There's temperance here. It's like, how do I heal and do the work on my ego at the same time? Like, how do I, and maybe you've let like certain self-care regiments or self-care practices, I don't want to say regiments, because self-care shouldn't be like a task, but I think self-care may have gotten to the point that it feels like a task. It feels like a chore. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. There is some kind of dark magic at play here. And that's just a lower vibrational spell casting. So stop giving energy to that. Stop giving energy to that. There is somebody watching that's in wearing a disguise. There is somebody trying to manipulate you and appear as if they want the same things, like they are you, like they're pretending to be a fish. They're not a fish. Now this could be that you're dealing with somebody, feminines are dealing with somebody who is a little bit immature, and so you would rather they just tell the truth, but it's like they're telling you what they think you want to hear, and that's not what you want to hear because it's not the truth. So, and of course you can see right through that. But again, with not tending to the 3D, maybe this was a conversation that was put off. This could be somebody that you've been dealing with for a while and you haven't really defined what you wanted. You haven't really called it anything. Could be a friend. There could be an age difference here with the Page of Cups. But there's sort of this procrastination, putting off of this conversation possibly. But the separation feels like somebody had to grow up and somebody had to nurture themselves. So if you are in separation, that feels like the dynamic between the two of you. The feminine had to go off and nurture themselves, tend to themselves, and the masculine maybe pretended like they had the capacity. Maybe they wanted to have the capacity, but they just didn't at the time. They had to go grow up. This feels like a masculine who was in an immature energy. That is really good. It's a strawberry matcha tea and pineapple, like a pineapple carbonated water drink. I can't remember the name of it, but it's like Bubble or some kind of cute name. Bubble. Maybe this person has pet names for you. If they call you Bubble, that's crazy. But there is something about bubbles possibly. But bubbles are air with water and soap. So there is that cleansing. There's something about the way you came together, I feel, that was not, maybe it was a little bit lower vibrational. Maybe it started as a one-night stand. Maybe it started as friends with benefits or something like that. It wasn't what either one of you really wanted, and it was sort of like the bed that you both made. And so there's sort of a conversation. So you may have already met your person, you may be in a connection with your person, but there's some sort of conversation. There's some sort of conversation that will bring light to the depths, representing water, air, and water. And that soap is like, it's going to be very cleansing and healing, which Temperance is about faith. And then Temperance is Sagittarius, and then it's kind of associated with the star, which is Aquarius, which I think is why those two signs often get confused for each other. So something about, maybe you've been with your person for a very long time, and it's kind of like when you grow up with a sibling, or if this is your polarity sign, if you're dealing with a Virgo, this could be a new connection and it could just feel very old. Like you grew up together and there was like that competition or some sort of like almost like a sibling rivalry aspect to maybe one of you is a twin. But when you grow up so closely connected with someone, especially if it's like a trauma bond or something, or if there's like mutual chaos that you've shared with somebody, you almost don't know if you have your own identity. Maybe there was like a loss of identity, which Pisces energetically, as a sign, they can be very adaptable and accommodating, but as a shadow that can slip into them becoming too outside of themselves, if that makes sense. It's a strange way to describe it, but there's that Page of Swords. Somebody's watching, whatever, not today, Satan. But somebody is watching you do work, and maybe part of the interference has something to do with one of your families. Justice, there could be, children involved, so this could be something legally that's like the holdup here. The feminine is over here doing this work and doing that bloodletting. They're working on their shadows. So I feel like you may have known each other for a while, or somehow energetically you've been watching each other, you've been observing each other in the 5D as you both heal. And I'm excited to pull for the masculine to see what they've been healing, because the feminine's been healing something, maybe the Empress, something on the maternal side, breadcrumbing, maybe had a very distant mother, closed off, cold, and so like any little morsel from their mother, if their mother even remembered their name that day. So there is something with twins or like siblings where like there was like a mutual neglect shared. So maybe you and your person, when you come into connection, your shadows are very mirrored. And so that can get into a very codependent place. And if this is new, you may know that, and you both have to go and do the work, and you're like, oh, this is going to be bad. I can tell this is going to be toxic. And there might be something tempting about that, because it might be a little bit fun to kind of play with those aspects, because it's easier to play with them than to do the work on them, right? It's like a parent. It's harder to set a boundary or say no than to just be like, but it ends up creating a monster. It like creates a bed that you don't want to lie in anymore. Maybe something with the Leo. We have the Sun here, the Tower, Scorpio, and we have Lovers, Gemini. So again, this feels very close here, because we have the Empress in the feminine side, and we have these major plot points of destruction, rebirth, endings, new beginnings, and then this love coming in, ringing in the left ear. That's incoming information. Two of Cups and the Six of Swords. This masculine's coming in. Incoming. I almost get like a crash landing, not to put that out there, but like just like in a silly way, right? Maybe you grew up watching The Rescuers, and The Rescuers Down Under, but the a seagull. What is his freaking? He's an albatross. Alcatraz. That prison. Somebody's coming out of a prison. Yeah, Nine of Swords. This masculine's coming out of a mental prison. Hold on, I feel like you need to tend to your skincare, your hair, your oral hygiene. Like, there's something about getting back into self-care, making sure that you maintain this Empress frequency, right? And the Divine Feminine, Divine Masculine, they maintain both the masculine and feminine frequency. Same ingredients, different recipes, right? So the Divine Feminine holds more of the feminine, but she's done the work. She's an Empress. She can shift into that. Masculine energy if need be, but it's not her natural resting place. It's not where she is the most creative. And same with the masculine. The masculine is the most creative. They are more the leader of the 3D. When they have less feminine, when they're more in their masculine, but they can dip into that, and that looks more like they know that they need to take a rest day from the gym, right? So yeah, this feels like a very like, hold on, all right, I gotta make sure everything's right. This masculine feels a little bit neurotic. Could be Nine of Pentacles, could be a Virgo, little bit neurotic. Someone in that energy for sure. Could have strong Virgo placements. Nine of Cups is wish fulfillment. So Nine of Pentacles, this is somebody, yeah, who's very independent. Someone who's very satisfied. They know how to fill all their cups. Excuse me. Two of Pentacles. Capricorn energy. This could be a bit of a workaholic, this masculine. Could be an Aquarius. Or fixed energy. We have the Knight of Swords and the Knight of Pentacles. And there's that Six of Swords again. So this is somebody who's coming in. We have the Knight of Swords and the Knight of Pentacles. So maybe this masculine, maybe you have two that you're choosing between feminines. Masculine, you may have some competition. If you're the divine masculine, you know that if you know that this is your divine feminine, looking at them as the Empress over here, yeah, you know this is your feminine. Lovers. This is the person you want to destroy and create worlds with. Ooh, this feels very intense. But in like a really, I'm getting like decadent way or like sultry way. So it's like very romantic. It's very Piscean, but it's like dark Piscean. We got this dark horse here. You might feel like the dark horse here, masculines, coming in a little bit more slowly, but you know your feminine has dealt with these fast talkers, right? The smooth talkers, fast, right? But the words that they say are so fleeting. You know, it's like something they like Googled in the parking lot before they walked into the date or whatever, and they knew exactly what. They're like GPTing the date. I mean, this is just some like really fast talker, sales guy, you know. And this is what it's done to that feminine. Feminine has fallen for that before. So masculines, you know, there's like a very confident. I might seem like the underdog, but there's a confidence in a darkness because you understand it. Maybe you are into witchcraft. Maybe you are into paganism with the earth, with the pentacles there, right? I mean, you're here, so we all got a little witch in us. Yeah, and these people are just superficial. These people are all about like, yeah, there's no substance there. Okay. So I don't know why, but when I just looked here, I got like, this looked like the end of this knight's leg. I was like, whoa, I've never noticed how short they were. I don't know why, just because of the way that this card reflects the light. It just didn't appear that they had a long leg. So there could be something about that. Maybe there's a height thing here. You know, I'm getting like Sex in the City. Samantha has been with, and she kind of feels like a Taurus. But she's, yeah, she has been with like, you know, these gorgeous tall businessmen, and there's this one guy she really hits it off with, but they're sitting next to each other, and then when he gets off, it's like Lord Farquaad, he jumps off and he's very short, and so maybe something like that, but he's very confident. Like there's something about this masculine, about you masculines, the divine masculine, it's like whatever maybe a previous version of you would have viewed as being like a shortcoming, that could be literal or whatever, it's, you know how to have, you've turned it into gold, like it's become part of your thing. Like, yeah, it's like once you owned whatever this insecurity was, it's part of your power. It's made you so confident. And I don't know, this guy just kind of looks like maybe he has all the better gear, and there could be like a financial thing because the Knight of Pentacles is like, I'm comfortable, I've got enough. This is someone who knows that they have a worthy offer here, but maybe this Knight of Swords is more flashy, and maybe they have like, you know, they could be like, trust, I get that, you know, no shade on trust fund babies, you know, it's not your fault. But yeah, and maybe this person's just, you know, they just, it's like golden boy energy. And this is the dark horse, the black sheep, the one who had to work for things differently. And you don't want to compare, but maybe it's like an obvious comparison that this person has had maybe an easier life when it came to that. But you know how it's also, maybe there was a weight loss here, because pentacles are health and wealth, and I was really getting a lot of like needing to balance your rest days, the gym and stuff like that. And you know, this it's like when okay, this, I don't know, might upsets some people with weight issues. So there could be a little trigger warning here. I don't know. But it's said, you know, people who are like fat growing up develop better personalities, or ugly growing up develop better personalities, and people who were always like the golden boy or the golden girl, like Golden Girls, maybe that show, you like that show. And maybe you were raised by, or very heavily like influenced by an older relative growing up, and like there's something very slow and sweet and genuine about this masculine, but maybe they just were like had acne growing up, or you know, like he had braces, or you know, like Forrest Gump, it's like, oh, he's got like the braces on his legs because something with the leg there, or they were shorter, like heavy growing up, and then it's like there's like the black swan, because it's the black and the white, and it's like, oh yeah, the white swan, but then the black swan is gorgeous, right? Yeah. And this could be interracial, right? This could be like with the lovers here, we have this, there's a lot of like the dark and light dichotomy, so that could be more literal as far as your appearance. You come from different places, so there is like an underdog aspect of this masculine winning the heart of a feminine that has maybe never been seen for anything more. And so yeah, maybe you did grow up with them, or this is just very reminiscent of like what is it? Don't Tell Her It's Me, Lobo Moringa. You know, of like a glow up, a high school, you know, you read at the reunion and it's like, oh my gosh, you look so good. And so this is like the masculine, that underdog, like winning. And it's not that the feminine is like this trophy or whatever. It's like, this is what they are always, oh, I just got a little bit like kind of choked up there, but because I'm like rooting for both of these characters here, because the feminine, she can't help it that she's pretty. Like maybe she was always, you know, but it was also like a curse, because she never was in the same zones as, or like was never, no one who, she was always put up on such a pedestal that like no one would approach her because they didn't have the guts to. And maybe she would have rejected them at that time. Maybe she was arrogant growing up or something, you know, maybe things came easily to her, and so maybe she had to hit a rock bottom and a like tough realization that like beauty fades, this kind of beauty fades. So maybe this feminine had to go away and with this temperance, like build up some substance, like, you know, like, and really stop interacting with superficial people, and that wasn't fulfilling to them. So there was a lot of work on the feminine side of like building that substance, and this masculine, I feel, always had the substance, but they had to do the work on their outside, because it's like, you can sit around and be like, oh, nobody likes me and everyone should like me as I am, and it's like, yeah, but do you like you as you are? You know, maybe there is a reason that you're, you know, not taking care of yourself, and that, you know, that's, most of the beauty comes from health. It comes from the inside out. It's like, when you're not taking care of yourself, you're not sleeping well, not hydrating, your skin looks like a lizard. And so it's like, you have to hydrate, take care of yourself, make sure you're drinking good, clean water, as clean as you can get it in this world, right? I mean, this is the same water that dinosaurs peed in, right? So there are ways to filter it. So it's like, bless your water when you take it in. Like, look at those experiments where people do that with the rice, and it like changes. We shift all the energy around us. Thank things around you. Gratitude. All right, now I feel like I'm just like telling y'all what you do, and you're like, shut up, Mom. Maybe somebody has a very nosy mother. The Lovers and the Sun again. So more Leo, Gemini energy in the clarifying deck here, which is a rebirth. So this could be a reconciliation, you know? And that's, you know, if you don't feel good about yourself, the way that you look, you can say, oh, everyone should love me and not be so superficial. And it's like, but you're first of all probably not taking care of yourself, not eating well, not sleeping well. Maybe there was too much drinking, or you were smoking. You know, it's like if you were treating yourself poorly, then that's what you're telling people that you deserve, how you deserve to be loved. Pisces, I always get so intense with you guys. It's always so you're one of my favorites, Pisces. Because all the Pisces, they've always been so introspective, but then they just get very hard on themselves instead of like activating out of that space. It's like, oh, I don't like these things about me, and I want someone to love me for me, but you're not even being the fullest version of you. So it's deceptive right off the bat there, Pisces, because you're just like, I want them to love me, but it's not just as simple as, well, if you don't love you, it's like you're not being the fullest version of yourself. So you don't even know what you look like because you haven't pushed yourself into something new and different. You haven't, you know, gotten out of your own way for so long. So that's that procrastination thing. And just to be clear, this energy is divine. This is balance. So that's past energy that you can just help. That can just maybe help you go, okay, yeah, this reading feels more like my energy. So if you're not seeing this union, if this is a new union, or you don't expect this past person to have gone maybe through all of this and then come back, or you don't really want to expect that, but secretly you are, and that's what you're here for, then these messages can confirm right here. These can confirm like the best outcome. The Moon in reverse, coming out of lack of clarity and confusion. So there is that clarification coming in. In what form? I saw something come out. I saw something. Maybe check your messages. Maybe you've got like a full mailbox, and you've just been like, I don't want to look at. Maybe look through there. There could be, or your email, your spam. Like, okay. Yeah, it's like maybe there's like maybe a change of address or something like that, or maybe your mail, there's a package that you've needed to pick up, or something that's like the lost in the mail. 7 of Swords. That's very guarded energy. I feel like the masculine wants the Lovers, and the 6 of Cups. They know that they're your soulmate. They see you as the moon, the divine feminine. So I feel like this part's for the divine feminine. Masculines, the feminine could feel or be hoping that this is how you feel about them. So you gotta come in with conversation. High Priestess. Yeah, there's a lot of intuition here. It's like you both know. So what are you doing or not doing? King of Pentacles. Okay, that's too much. Just make it short and sweet. Somebody's a rambler here. Takes one to know one. But someone's a rambler here. That's not... Okay. 7 of Cups and the 6 of Swords. 6 of Swords is that fast incoming, like the rescue. It feels like, oh, finally. This is the one that I wanted it to be. Tom Hanks again. I think is he a Scorpio? I don't know. He's one of those. But just, if you haven't seen You've Got Mail, ignore this next part because I'm going to spoil it. All right. You're either a glutton for punishment, or you have seen You've Got Mail, and you know in the ending where she says, I wished it was you, or I was hoping it was you. I wanted it to be you. That's what it is. Getting the words right. Getting the words right. Oh, Pisces doesn't overthink words or communication. What? Three of Pentacles. Somebody's talking with their friends here, consulting with friends, family, people that they respect their opinion. See, I need chapstick right now. It's like, okay. Somebody is worried. Somebody is a mystery to them. This masculine views the feminine as a mystery. And the feminine's like, what's the mystery? I'm over here in the High Priestess energy. And if I'm in the High Priestess energy, then that makes you the Magician and the High Priest, right? So there's a little bit of doubt. King of Pentacles. The feminine sees this masculine as being complete, like the complete package. The King of Pentacles. They see them as being very stable. So there could be a little bit of concern on the masculine side that they don't have enough, or maybe they would like more. They've maybe seen this feminine and they think, oh, they want maybe a higher standard of living. I want to provide something greater, a bigger house. And the feminine's like, you don't understand. I'm a High Priestess. Like, I'm overstimulated. I just want like a little cottage in the woods. Take me out in the middle of, I just want quiet and peace. Like, like I want simple life. All of this is not me. And maybe you remember that as being me, or maybe just the appearance of this person seems like that's their bag of chips. That is not this feminine's bag of chips. They don't like that. I feel like it's quality time. They just want quality time. And maybe the masculine's love language, or how they give love, is like through gift giving, right? And this feminine's is actually like just acts of service. Like, what can you do for me? Not like, what can you do for me? But like, and maybe again with the physicality, the feminine and masculine, whichever it is, feels more like it might be the masculine that's questioning if they're physically attractive enough for the feminine. Again, attractive is health. What's your health like? What's the quality of who you are? Your character is far more appealing, right? Because if you've ever dealt with somebody who's just like, oh, they're like perfect Adonis or whatever, but there's no substance there, they become very unattractive, right? And who it is? It's the Dakota and Elle Fanning. Elle Fanning. Why does that not sound right now? Is it Dakota? Wow, I'm thinking Dakota Johnson. Color pink. Is she Libra? Anyway, they have this thing dedicated to Jack Black. And I don't know his sign, but like about how he's just like the most gorgeous man alive. And I think it's true. I think this masculine is going to make the feminine laugh. And that is genuinely, those red pill people, or whatever the hell, red table, whatever those manipulative, out of balance, out of whack entities are, where they say like, oh, women don't want a funny guy. They don't care about sense of humor. Yeah, they do. They do. And men just love to make women laugh, right? So it's like a mutual reward here. Right? Like this feminine has never like been with someone who's intellectually stimulated them or made them laugh. And like masculines, there's a need to be like, I'm a hot commodity. Like I have a lot to offer. I mean, yeah, like I was born with these parts, but I feel like I've made the most of them. You know, you've taken care of them. It's like you take care of your skin, your hair, your health, your fitness. You know, you've become like you've done the best with whatever you were given. And so I don't know, maybe you're like, oh, I don't like my nose or something. Like this feminine is like, I like your nose. You know what they say about men with big noses? Nikki. They smell real good. I think you are really going to love the way this person smells. Okay, so maybe one of you is a life path 3, one of you is a life path 4. But there's the number 3 for the feminine and 4 for the masculine. The feminine is wanting an offer to go out on a date. They want to be courted. The masculine is okay with that because they have the 4 of Wands here. The 11-11 divine union. They want something long term. All right, so this is an affirmation for your energy centers or a little poem. Your 7 energy centers, 162, and it's a person jogging. So yeah, maybe somebody's really wanting to take care of themselves or has started taking care of themselves. They're on some sort of fitness journey. And that is so much more impressive, somebody that takes care of themselves. Because then you don't have to do it for them, right? When you deal with those golden boys or girls, it's like everything's been done for them, so it's very draining because they've gotten accustomed to taking. I am beholding all. Mine eye is single as I call. Raise me now and set me free, thy holy image now to be. I am the eye that God does use to see the plan divine. Right here on earth, his way I choose, his concept I make mine. So those are 2 little poems from here. Take them or leave them, however they apply. But it's like a reminder that I'm divine. So with the protection stuff, I'm protected 42, 43 on the clock there. Yeah, I feel like you guys are really going through it. So this is a reminder to just continue sealing your chakras. Yeah, it's Harry Potter, protection spells, and using your words, using your voice, because you are the high priestess, right? That's the 3rd eye. The high priest is Taurus, right? The Hierophant. That's the throat chakra. So this is what I see and what I say. So this is I am statements, this is creation, this is the Magician, Gemini, Virgo, and Taurus as well. It's all the throat chakra, it's mercurial energy, it's creative manifestation. So it's like ringing in the left ear. Again, there's like a call coming in, and it feels like some sort of download that you're going to receive that you'll be uploading with this person into the collective. So there's something very important. Maybe you're going to be writing, because I am getting this like poetic, and so maybe you're writing something or whatever you create, it could be music or something. It's going to speak to other individuals about the possibility. I'm getting like prospects. It's like how you can benefit from mutual trust. I don't know, that feels very analytical or something, like more like business minded. So I mean, that could be, one of you could just be very from different worlds. One of you could just be very high priestessy, witchy, until that's enough. And then maybe the masculine is very much into structure and business and stocks. But there's a way to like blend those together as being mutually beneficial. What is that from? arrival, non-zero sum game, so everybody benefits. Okay, so it's a win-win, and it's mutual. So like you both have everything to bring to the table. Okay, your person sees you as completely perfect. You're everything. You're the most attractive person to each other, and maybe from the outside it looks a certain way, but I don't feel like it's from the outside. I feel like you're both very compatible, but there's like almost like a dysmorphia about your external beauty or your external environment, your external value system that feels a little bit like it's in question. So there's a need to just give that energy to yourself, keep replenishing that. You maybe got caught up over giving to another person, and you might be wanting to kick yourself for that, but that's just going to distract you from this love. And this love starts from you giving that same love to yourself first. Make sure that you're just rubbing your feet a little bit. Take care of yourself, Pisces. Make sure that you just are keep loving on yourself, because however you got here, to be closer to it, and it does feel like the bend before the break. There's so much tension because it's like you can feel it. You know it's there. Maybe you know this is your person. Maybe you've talked about this, but there's like the waiting, and that pause makes you feel a little bit hopeless. Or if you haven't met this person, then yeah, you could be feeling quite like hopeless. So, but just know that that's when the devil sneaks in, right? That's when all the doubt and the shadows and temptations and lower vibrations wiggle their way in. So keep your protection up, in whatever way you do it. And it's like in The Mummy where he's like, hey, and he's pulling all the different charms out to ward off the mummy. He's like, I'll try anything. And one of them works, right? So it's like, this very like agnostic approach to spiritual protection. If you're like, I don't know which one to do because I am, you don't have to isolate, right? As long as the intention is there, then you're doing something divine. You're doing something, because divine doesn't have a language. All right, we're gonna get into a much heavier topic. We'll keep going, and I feel like maybe that's how you and your person are gonna interact. Like, it's gonna be so much fun, the conversation you both have. You're gonna laugh and play and be curious together, and I think you're gonna just share a lot of quality time, and that's all you both have wanted. So who cares how you look to other people, because you're probably just going to be like two little sex hermits in your little space together in your cottage in the woods. And I think that's what you've always wanted. Pisces, I feel like you've always just wanted one. You've just always wanted to be one person's favorite, and you're going to be this person's favorite, and they're going to be your favorite. So you're just going to be fucking each other's favorites forever. Like, it sounds great. So I really hope that there was something in here for you, Pisces. Thank you for your patience, and thank you for all of your support, your time, and being here. And I think that's it. Until next time, I wish you well.